Good morning, everybody. It is November 13th. We are back up at the North Farm. As you can clearly see, we have the 1167 here. And we're still cooling down some canola. It's about, well, I think it's right at 0 degrees here right now, which is actually pretty dang warm for being morning. It's probably going to get to plus 4 or 5 today. Some of the snow is trying to melt. Hence the ice. And look, we got some gravel in the yard, for goodness sakes. Holy cow, things are stepping up in this world. But you know what's not stepping up in the world anymore? Unfortunately, is the 1167, because we are going to say goodbye to the 1167. Yeah, it's kind of bittersweet for me. I did pick up another tractor. I actually sold the 1167. So, and I never did get to do like a final review or my 2 cents on it. So maybe we'll just try and do that video right now. So the 1167 has a 16.2 liter MAN engine, not to be confused with a, don't call it a MAN engine. I learned that the hard way when I was in Germany at the Fendt manufacturing plant. It is an MAN engine. The 16.2 liter MAN engine is low RPM. I think it tops out at like 1650 or 1700 RPM, something like that. But it is a high torque engine. I really like the MAN engine, you guys. Big fan of the MAN engines. They start really good in the wintertime, unlike the Deutz engines. And this thing is torquey and it pulls pretty stinking good. It is well weighted. We got extra weights here. Roll weights here, one here. I think I could probably put 1 or 2 more on here. We got inside wheel weights, another row of inside wheel weights. Oh yeah, I forgot this. Yeah, right, this is actually, I actually sold it back to the dealership. So the dealership's actually gonna take this thing back, and it's a warranty job because some of these bolts were breaking and then the weight was getting loose. It didn't fall off. They came back down and they had to drill some out because they actually sheared them off. And they had to tap them out, drill them back out again, and put some more in there, but they got to kind of fix this. So, believe me, guys, the straps are not holding the weight. We just didn't take the straps off. It actually has bolts in it. So anyways, I believe that this thing is weighted to around 62 or 3,000 pounds. I can't remember now what this thing is weighted to. Shoot. Oh well, I have to look that back up, I guess. It is rocking twin pump, obviously, twin hydraulic pumps. Full LED package. Lights are actually really stinking good. Fendt lights are awesome. Big front weight. Has a tow cable right here. I'm also a big fan of the stairs. That's a pro. I really like just climbing the stairs like this. Although a con is the size of the fuel tank. It only has 350 gallons and has a 35 gallon 10% DEF tank. And you cannot go all day without fueling DEF and fuel. Can't do it. And they do go down bar for bar, bar for bar, bar for bar. So that is handy. But if you want to start at the crack of dawn, you're filling by supper time. Yeah. Like Ashton's tractor, it has a 400, it has an extra 100 gallons on board, 450 gallons. The Steiger tractors, you can pretty much go all day with no problem, but this, you're not going all day. Let's hop into the cab's all nice and clean in here. There is no carpet that I know of for an 1167. It's a little chilly inside. That wind's a little chilly. Okay. So, I put about, wait for it, about 750 hours, which is not very much. That's pretty much just 2 years of seeding, you guys, and a little bit of recreational Dago Pro tilling. But anyways, oh, we forgot to take this out. We've taken the radio out. This tractor is prepared to get picked up tomorrow. So another con, other than the fuel tank, is the cab. The cab is definitely dated. This is the cab from like the Challenger era. The monitor obviously is dated. Everything's dated because, you know, you get the, like my 724 Gen 6, it's got the new monitor in it, the new joystick layout, it's got the, you know, Fendt one. And I don't like how far this is back. I would love to have like an LED screen right up here, like on the 724 or something like that. I don't like, you know, I gotta have my binoculars. Once you get old, you can't see how fast you're going. Oh man, so that is definitely a con. Just the cab in general is a con. What else? Oh yeah, this hydraulic hitch, this is definitely a pro. Let's take a look at that. This is kind of like one of their claim to fames with this particular 2-track. So it means it's not active, no big deal. First switch it out of road mode, then push down on this. Cannot be used when valves are locked. I guess unlock your hydraulics. That's probably the first step. There we go. Oh. All right, so that means your hitch is unlocked and it's ready to be used. So then you got this down here. Let me zoom in here just a little bit here. You can run manual or you can run auto. I always typically run auto. So this 65% is the range on your drawbar. So I have the drawbar or the hitch limited to 65% of my drawbar. And the reason why I do that is because the air drill, when I'm pulling it, if I go to, well, I think 72% is max, it will actually start pulling on the wiring harness. And that's, remember it was last year, I pulled out my camera harness and it's a $2,000 harness, you guys. So make sure if you are going to go 100% on the drawbar, you have enough cable and hydraulic hoses to withstand that, because you got to remember your hitch is going this way and all your hoses and yeah, you know, I don't have to explain. And then down here is the amount of, I guess, I don't know what you want to call it, pressure or whatnot that it requires to pull the hitch over. So at 20%, obviously, if you're at 100%, that hitch would barely move, if at all, while you're pulling that air drill way over here, okay? But yet, if you put it at 0%, you could just go kick it over with your foot, right? So obviously, pulling the air drill, I have it up higher, and then, but when I'm pulling, like, if you're pulling a harrow or something, you back it down. It's a lighter implement. Or if you're in wet conditions, you're going to want to back it down, right? So that way, you know, you can properly turn with your 2-track, because without that hydraulic hitch, turning is a problem. Now, I used this thing down south in 2000. It did not go south this year. It's seated up here in 2023, but 2022, because it is a 2022 model. It's a 2022 model. First year was down south. I have lots of videos of that. If you want to go back and check them out. It was a drought year. Basically, we didn't do anything. We just went up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And then in 2022, we brought it up to the North Farm, and it was just a muck hole, you guys. It was, I can't remember how much rain we got, like 15 inches of stinking rain or something in the spring. And I was trying to break up all that grass. Remember, I got videos of that. Anyway, it was a mud hole. And I also had the John Deere triple tractor up here too, which weighs about 61,000 pounds, I'll have you know. And I was running the 1167, and it was just like I was having a lot of trouble in the mud. Not so much turning, though there was some instances that I did have some trouble, but it wasn't as bad as everybody makes it out to be. So I actually stuck the triple tractor on. I have videos of this. You want to go back and find them. I guess I could throw some of those videos in the description of this video. I actually put the John Deere triple tractor on because it's articulating, and I'm like, you know what, this has got to be better, right? Like, this has to be better, and it wasn't. It turned better, yes, but I was digging way more because it's a tired machine. And I actually unhooked it. I didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. I actually preferred the 1167 because once I had the 1167 pointed in the direction that I wanted to go, it was unbelievable what it would pull through. Like, I was kind of shocked. So I was really happy with it. And then I ran it again this year. It wasn't near as wet up here this year. Relatively quite dry, and it worked really good. But a big con to 2-tracks is friction drive. So friction drive, I need to point this out. friction drive, and I mentioned this in a couple of my videos, is just the rubber of your wheel on the rubber of the track. And your tracks are tensioned hydraulically, and you can actually see that PSI from the monitor, and you can tell if one track is loosening off versus the other track. But when you get this wet, say you go through a bit of a water run and it actually dips water into your track, or you get a little bit of mud in your track, and then all of a sudden you need to turn, you will just slip your wheel inside your track. And you will slip it, guys, aggressive enough that it is verbally loud. It is like, whoa, 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 and the track's just like hopping and whoa. Never do that again. Time out. Anyways, you have a big cloud of blue smoke, like a great big old cloud of blue smoke, because you're literally like burning the rubber off your wheel. So that is definitely a con. And it will get you stuck, because typically if you're trying to turn that aggressively, it's because you need to. Okay, we should never do that again, Mike. Never do that again. I think I just had a seizure there. Oh man. But anyways, but how does it pull, Mike? How does it pull? It pulls really good. I got no complaints about how it pulls. It pulls better than my 9620R tractor, and it pulls better than my 9620RX that I had. And I would pull right beside my brother's 9620RXs, and it just stay right with them. In fact, it might even pass them a little bit. So it pulls pretty good. So now that's not the 9640s, the new John Deeres. I'm told that those pull better. And let's be honest, Case 580 it probably pulls as good as my 9620R. But it does pull good. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't have had it after the first year. Simple as that. I would not have had it after the first year. I was quite verbal about that with people who I knew. I was like, I'm going to give this tractor one shot. It either does it, it's gone. And I enjoyed it. But it's time to move on. Nothing against the tractor, you guys. But I love to try new things. Everybody does. So stay tuned for that. All right. Let's summarize. First, we'll do the cons. Con 1, cab, dated. Technology, dated. Dash, dated, very dated. Steering wheel, everything, dated. And the cab is quite small, okay? Like, the door literally comes right to the buddy seat. You better not be a very big person, or the door is going to crush your leg, okay? Cab. Con number 2, friction drive. But that is the nature of the beast. Con number 3, fuel capacity, DEF capacity. Can't run a full day under load. So that's gone. I don't care what kind of fuel economy it gets. Well, Mike, it's better on fuel than the Cummins engine. Maybe it is, but if I can't go a whole day, then that's con. Con number 4 is it's hard to hook up, especially if you're stuck, because it's really hard to see your hitch. So typically what I do is I just manually swing the hitch out onto this angle over here, or this, typically this one, this angle over here, so you can see your hitch. I don't like not being able to see the hitch. The John Deere 9620R is the exact same way. Con number 5, in the 1167 you actually do sit low, like you are lower than even the 9620R sitting over there, which is gone, as you know, because Dad bought that tractor. It's got to get hauled to the South Farm. So we also say goodbye to the 9620R. But it's goodbye, but also see you later, because I'm going to see you back at the South Farm, and it's still, you know. Oh man, there's a lot of things I shouldn't be doing anymore, I'm telling you. Don't ever do that again either, Mike. So that's con number 5, is you do sit lower. So for grain carting, we've noticed it on grain carting, because we actually did put this thing on the grain cart, but you do sit lower, so I prefer to sit a little bit higher so that we can kind of see in, unless you have cameras and everything. A lot of people do have cameras. I do not. And Now let's talk about the pros. Pro is the engine. Big pro obviously is the MAN engine, 16 liter. It's very torquey. I love that engine. You know, like Ashton's tractor, it's got the Iveco 12.9, I think it is. And they're asking a lot of power out of that smaller block. I do like having that bigger block. Now we're not going to talk about the 715 and that engine yet. That's a whole other can of worms we're not going to go into as of right now. But big fan of the engine. This thing starts freaking awesome. Minus 25 degrees Celsius. Minus 20. Maybe it was only minus 15 to minus 20. Not even plugged in. Fires right up. You can barely get the 724 going when it is plugged in. So big fan of the engine and big fan of how it pulls. So pro number two. Pro number two is obviously the CVT transmission. This transmission is by far better than a power shift for, I guess, the luxury to drive. Don't get me wrong, a power shift is pretty easy to do. Just tick, 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 or tick, 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 tick. But if you have inexperienced operators on a power shift transmission pulling a big drill back there, and if the engine is lugging down and they don't shift down at the proper time, it is possible, I know this from experience, to stall that tractor on a hill. Hopefully they don't. Hopefully they clutch it. But this takes all that out of the it will not happen. The CVT transmission is, in a sense, dummy proof. That's the reason why I run it. And and on a grain cart, you actually can't get a better transmission. Like, power shift is good. Case power shifts shift amazing. And maybe even the new John Deere's now. But you're not going to beat a CVT transmission. It's just, that is the Cadillac for grain carting or high-speed tillage. It's just a Cadillac. But I guess I should say a con number 6 is, again, the CVT transmission, because it is not the most efficient way to get the power to the ground, and you do lose power out that transmission. This thing does really well, but you do lose power out the transmission, so that is a con as well. All right, pro number 3 obviously is the lights. I'm a big fan of the LED lights on the Fendt tractors. I love the day running lamps that are on it. A lot of tractors don't have running lamps, so I really like the LED running lamps on these Fendt tractors. And obviously the hitch. Another pro is the hitch, number 4. We also have a hydraulic hitch on our John Deere 2-track. And then normally you just leave it in float, and then you can, but the fact that I can set how much I want this one to go across, and I can set how much pressure I want to make it move the hitch, I'm a big fan of that. For a 2-track. You gotta remember, we're still in a 2-track, all right? If you're gonna buy a 2-track, you're gonna have 2-track problems. But this thing does pull on a straight line. And it actually pulls pretty dang good cornering too. Like, it's not as bad as what people make it up to be. Also, I should note when I'm talking about the monitor, I did have my GPS or John Deere GPS in here, so I'm a big fan of that. I'm not a Trimble kind of guy. If I have the option to put John Deere guidance in, just making a note of that. Even on my 724 over there, the Gen 6, I might actually put John Deere guidance in that machine as well. Let's just step back outside for a second. Oh yeah, another pro is like the air filter. Like, remember on the 1050, like it draws out there on the 1050 as well. And in dusty seating conditions, I'd change that air filter probably once every 3 days. Most I could probably go as a week. This thing, guys, has been freaking amazing. Like 2 years. 2 years, and even on the monitor. Now, granted, it wasn't as dusty up here seating this year. Let's go into the engine components here. Go to filter. Right there, it's only 25%. But in 2022, when I got the tractor, it was dusty seating because we were in drought conditions down south. That's amazing. So, good job. Another pro is I like the look of the tractor. Like I said, I love the running lights. I did opt for the heavy track. There's 2 options. Obviously with Fendt, I like that it has air on board. You don't know how often you use this until you don't have it. But yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. And then obviously, I guess another pro, I'm kind of lost track, we must be close to par now, is when I buy the Fendt machines, I automatically just put on the extended warranty, which covers my service calls. So like if my windshield wiper motor gives me problems out here, even at the North or South Farm, they will drive out for free, replace it, and drive back. Yes, you are paying for that service call, you're paying for all that, but seems to me it works out to, if you have to do 2 service calls or 1.5 service calls a year, it pays for the warranty. So it's a no-brainer to put on. Because it costs so much for us to get a service guy out. So anyways, and that would be like annually, like a service call and a half annually type thing. Not just one. And then last pro is it's quiet. Because it doesn't rev very high. So when you're seating away, and it's actually a pretty quiet machine to run. The guys are just working on, we're going to take that sprayer trailer back to the South Farm. We got to take back 724 and the bag extractor because we got to pick up a grain bag back south. That's why this truck is up here. The door is closed. This is our last run, you guys. It's the last run together on the 1167. Kind of feel like maybe we should have some, I don't know, some staff or some people or some candles or something lit up on the side of the road on each side. It's just it's our last drive. We will drive off into the sunset because that makes sense because we're going east. Oh man. Okay, I don't like that one. That's the first time I've noticed that rattle. Well, I did say the cab was a con. Okay, guys. This is our last drive. I'll see you guys in the next video. It's bittersweet for me. It's bittersweet. Adios, amigos.